There we go. So stream is set up. We are recording.
Cool.
Hey guys, it's Steve and Kiley here for Command Table Episode 5. Today we're actually going to talk about color pairs and a lot of other interesting things that are coming up in Magic, like the gods.
The gods.
The gods.
And other things in Hour of Devastation that are just bonkers.
There's too many to really recant. I mean,
seriously.
Starting off with our main topic here. Color pairs, something that, obviously you've noticed Greg is not here.
Hey, I'm much younger.
This is Kiley, our fill-in. I know I've already introduced him, but Greg is actually sick, so Kiley was nice enough to actually fill in for him. We've actually done quite a bit more content with you as well, like a lot of the gameplay stuff like that. So,
and then we did the top 8 and stuff. So
yeah, you'll definitely see Kiley around. So it's not like he's a mysterious person.
I'm not a one and done kind of guy. Yeah,
he'll probably be on quite a few more Command Table episodes as well. So anyway, whatevs. So anyway, back to colors. We had talked about this last time on episode 4 about maybe doing it as a topic, and here we are.
Cool.
Color pairs, something that I brought up right away was our favorites, and we sat down and did that actually
we
ourselves.
We talked about it before we started, yeah.
Like you said, he guessed black-white for me, which is not...
It's interesting. I think I've seen you play a lot of black-white, and I don't know if it's because you're playing black-white the way I'm playing aggro. As kind of a way to get into it.
It could be. I mean, I definitely do enjoy black-white. There are a lot of, aristocrats kind of, builds, EDH stuff. I think maybe I've shied away from that in several years. So maybe in a couple of years ago, you might have been right.
Yeah.
I mean...
and we don't actually... we haven't really played each other in a while, just... doing other things.
Yeah, well, not in a 1v1 kind of way. I mean, we've definitely played against each other multiplayer quite a few times.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Usually it's me saying kill Kiley, and usually it's Kiley saying kill me, and then the two of us end up butting heads for most of the game, and then
someone else wins.
Yeah, our other two opponents are just like, well, I'm going to fly under the radar the entire game. Guys, I'm playing a Consecrated Sphinx. I don't care, Kiley. I don't know what you're doing over here.
Shut up. He's going to do something to it. You just watch him. But I played it.
He's going to commandeer it. I know
he's going to commandeer it.
There's no other...
You can't commandeer a creature spell.
Oh, well, I don't know how that spell works.
That's all right. No.
That shows you that I don't...
I'm pretty good with commandeer, actually.
Dirty spells. Commandeer.
When you commandeer a tooth and nail entwine, come on, man.
That's just...
It's a good feeling.
Makes me go for that.
Anyway, so back to color pairs.
Oh gosh, we got to stay.
I know we're pulling away from.
Well, like I was telling Kiley at the beginning of this, because it's the first one he's doing this with, or on this with. I'm trying to talk today, but I can't. This is the first time that he's on this podcast with me. Is that the discussions really? They go all over the place. The topic is more or less a guide point to get you into, talking about other stuff like we will. But anyway, we kind of went on to talking about our favorite pairs. Mine was Is It, yours was Simic.
Yep.
Two very strong pairs, I would say. Those two colors lend themselves to be put together and then run really well. They cover each other's weaknesses really well, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, blue takes a while to get going, so the green ramps you into what you need to do faster, so you can kind of take control of the game. Whereas also because blue takes a while to get going, I think the red polices the board in an interesting way with the burn and the taxing cards.
It's almost like our secondary colors on each pair start the game and then our blue colors finish the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes a lot of sense if you think about it. And, red, I think its biggest drawback is it doesn't really have the late game plan, whereas the blue does, so it covers that aspect.
Well, I think part of red's thing is the late game plan is kill everyone, including myself.
Yeah.
And blue's like, cool, I'm just going to take that one kill myself part out of there and continue with the rest of it.
Well, yeah, red's just like, wait, it's turn 4. Everybody's supposed to be dead right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Burn the world down.
Whereas green is typically ramp into big monsters, but then you just replace the big monster part with control the board, and it's just... Yeah.
Well, and then going on that, I know that we both probably really enjoy Azorius.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that color pair to me is probably, it's close to second favorite.
I would say it is my second favorite. I would also say it might be the strongest pair, period. Not even my favorite Simic, but I think that Azorius, especially in Commander, I mean, you think of Brago, you think of
Grand Arbiter Augustine.
Grand Arbiter Augustine for multiplayers.
Geist Saint Treff for
Geist for 1v1. I mean, when I think of the most really powerful champions, I think of...
See, I would argue that Simic is, just because it, in my opinion, it combines... It's like a perfect marriage. But I would definitely agree that Azorius is up there.
Yeah.
It's got the... I mean, it is control in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Like, it is control. Like, it's board control, it's spell control, it's whatever you want it to do. I mean, white is really good at removing anything, so I mean, you can't really argue with that.
Yeah.
Going on from that, I mean, we've got other pairs in white, I guess, would be Poros, which is...
not
not a whole lot of people's favorites.
No, I think it's because Boros traditionally doesn't take advantage of the white control.
Yeah.
I think Boros has always been...
But I think you have to learn how to play that style.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is for commanders.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the Boros commanders, and off the top of my head, I don't know very many, but I can't think of one that takes advantage of the control aspect of Boros.
Avacyn is like the only one.
Yeah, where she flashes in and gives you indestructible. Yeah, that'd be one of them. But
they're also focused on combat.
Yeah.
I mean, to us, since we've been playing for so many years, combat is almost like a secondary part of the game.
Combat rarely wins me Magic games.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what... I mean... Yeah, it's really not what it's about.
Not for us, at least.
No,
I mean, I know there are a lot of people out there that are just like, I just want to cast all the creatures off everybody's board and kill them, you know, just
and
like
then you just play green-red and you flood with everything really quickly.
And that's your thing, so...
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Boros, it's a tough nut to crack, and as I talked about in my Avacyn video, you know, the deck tech, like, it took me a while to even come to a start on that deck, like to just even build it. Like, it's just like, this is a mountain that I don't want to climb because it's just not, it's not going to pay off.
I think the scary part about Boros is, and I guess I'm opening up to it a little bit more, but the scary part about Boros for me is it seems like the color that's most difficult to ramp in because you have to rely on the rock mana.
Yeah.
But I feel like in like maybe Esper kind of situations, rock mana is really good because you're focusing on artifacts.
Oh yeah.
But in Boros, you're really not focusing artifacts typically. So your ramp becomes a little less, this is the means to an end to the deck, and it's more of a, I have to do this because if I don't, I'm not keeping up. And I think that's the scariest part for me because green is probably, I mean, huge for me in EDH colors.
Commander in general, I'd say. Like, green is mostly where you want to be.
Yeah, I like, when I was looking at the 4-color commanders, the one that I couldn't do was the one that didn't have green in it.
See, but that one, going back to what you said about Esper, like, that one made sense because it was artifacts.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they put the deck together, even out of the box, was masterful.
It was incredible. Like, and the mana worked really well in that deck. It was great. And that's exactly what that color scheme should do.
Yeah.
And it did it well.
Yeah.
But when I look at it for me, it doesn't have the green and it doesn't have that safety net of the ramp, and that just scared me away from it. And so I looked at Kianos and Tito, Kianos and Tito.
I feel like we're in Florida.
Oh, we might be. I mean, you were just there recently, right?
Yeah, that's true.
The green is just the green is my fallback. It's my safety net.
Well, I guess branching off of that a little bit, like, when I think of Boros, the way that I like to play it now is Mardu. You add black into there, and all of a sudden everything's fixed for me.
Yeah.
Because I think it's the card draw that bogs me, down the most.
Yeah, white's not great at it. Red can do it.
Red has, like, the wheel effects and stuff like that. It has a few, like, interesting card draw kind of mechanics, like exile, and then you can play it or whatever.
Well, and the loot effects.
Yeah, and they're decent, but I think just adding that black in there, like, it makes a world of difference. Just like, going back a few steps, we talk about, like, Simic and Azorius. You add those together, and you have one of the strongest, if not the strongest, tricolor pair in all of Commander, which is
here's where we argue a little bit.
Yeah,
because I think Esper's the strongest.
Yeah, I'm still on Bant,
and
which is funny because you play Bant.
Because I play Bant,
and I play Esper.
Yeah, and we're like really we're funny, on each other. But I think it's because we've played each other so many times, and we've each bested the other so many times that we're like, respect. you know?
For those of you that don't know us, and we're actually doing a deck discussion about this after this. So if you're on stream, stick around because we'll be talking about it. But
yeah, definitely.
Kylie actually has a Rubinia deck, and I have a Marike deck. And those are the decks we're actually comparing.
Yeah.
Because they function in a lot of ways the same way, except for, obviously we're locked out of certain things that we...
And if I remember right, at the end of your Marike build, it wasn't so focused on Marike.
Well, that was the first one. This new build is pretty much...
Definitely Marike? Okay,
it's a lot... I mean, I definitely took inspiration from your Rubinia deck.
Okay.
So it's in a lot of ways like an homage to Rubinia.
Well, and Binia has pulled away from being Binia-centric. So we kind of did the flip also. Because in the beginning of mine, I was all about Rubinia and synergizing with Rubinia. And now I'm like... she's helpful for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's a good place. I mean, in Commander, I think that's actually a good place to be. Like, there are decks that you want to build that are focused solely around your Commander, and there are other decks where you're just like, eh.
Well, there are commanders that say you have to build the deck this way.
Animar. Yeah. Is a really good example of that.
Yeah. Well, let's put Animar on the back shelf for now, just because I feel like Animar is one of the generals where you have to build around him, but it's always effective.
That's true. That's a good point.
I had the airtight deck, or not airtight, Azuri Claw of Progress.
Oh, yes.
I had that deck for a while. It was in my favorite colors, but it just floundered. And it was just because I could never really keep it on the board.
Well, and so many people have gone like so many different directions with that deck. Like I've seen Infect builds. I've seen like very close to, what the heck is his name? The elf that draws cards. Why can't I think of his name?
Edric?
Yeah, very close to Edric builds, except for, slightly different. I've seen some tribal builds too. I mean, when I think of Simic, I don't necessarily think of playing it that way. I think of playing like Thrasios or like...
Well, and see, I think Simic has gotten much stronger since Thrasios. I think before Thrasios, actually, I would say Thrasios broke that color open.
Yeah.
Because before Thrasios... what was the best Simic deck? Probably Momir Vic.
Prime Speaker Zagana was up there for sure.
But I mean,
I've
never
more
had
of a creature build again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really playing at what the colors, in my opinion, really do that I'm intrigued with.
The things that make it, in my opinion, super crazy good. Yeah. And that's why I think Thrasios broke it open.
Oh yeah.
Like I think Thrasios is the best Simic commander.
He's ridiculous. Period. I mean, I don't know why more people don't play him. To be honest,
I don't know why I haven't built him.
Like
I think the only reason I haven't built him is because I've been focusing on so many other things. Like, I mean, I'm a control player.
Yeah.
And, I've had Rubinia for so long, and then the next 3 decks that I built were all aggro, because I wanted to learn that style.
Yeah.
And so I kind of pulled away from and I think that's really what stopped me.
I think the main thing for me is I just ended up making him a partner in pretty much everything.
Yeah,
so, I mean, in a way, I have him, but it's not him.
Don't you have him in the one that has?
I have him paired in a bug group with. I've changed it several times, but right now it's Thrasios and the Gorgon chick that lets you gain life off of combat damage.
Oh, okay. Okay.
What her name is.
I can't either.
She's just there for colors, honestly.
Just to splash it in, yeah.
Because, I mean, she's okay, but meh. I had him paired with the artifact guy at one point, which...
I don't remember that one. That iteration.
Silas Wren. It was a long time.
No, yeah, I would say I just don't remember your build with
it. It was like the very first try, and like mixing Simic and artifacts, as fun as it sounds, which doesn't actually sound very fun now that I say it out loud,
really.
Is not that great. Although I have seen it work. Like Nick actually made a build that was awesome. What was the other one though? I'm trying to think because there's the +1/+1 counter chick, the last of the Abzan or whatever. I think or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that was an okay grouping because Simic has so many with the +1/+1 counters like Morale and stuff like that. Like it was an interesting pair. But
from Azuri Claw of Progress, there's a ton of +1/+1 manipulation you can do. It's so fun.
I mean, it's a fun deck to build, but I just ended up not enjoying it as much as I would a Gov deck, which is actually what I ended up building that shell into.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess getting back on topic here.
Yeah, we keep coming away from colors.
Well, that's fine. Blue black. Talking about bug. I tend to go a little bit more tribal with blue black. With zombies and vampires and whatever,
fairies.
what have you. Yeah. It's all fun. I know that I've talked about tribal, to no end. Like it's a way to play the game that's a lot less competitive, especially if you can get a group together and just kind of play, for funsies kind of more.
Well, I feel like tribal also. Not only is tribal generally easier to build, because you kind of have it all laid out for you.
Well,
I need
you have a
elves,
strong
whatever.
theme.
Yeah, you have a strong theme. But I feel like tribal's also one of one of those ways where you can do the commander things like. This is an interesting interaction that you can't find in any other format, but I'm going to put it in Commander because it works. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's where the fun in Tribal comes. And I know we're both super excited for Tribal Commanders coming out.
Like, I just cannot wait to find out what the other 3 are.
Wizards. I want Wizards.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
I want Wizards so bad.
As cool as Elves would be, I hope that is not one of them.
They said it was one of the most popular, or it was 4 of the most popular, so I feel like it has to be Elves. Elf has its own Elf ball.
Yeah,
it has its own
I feel like I don't know. It's a huge opportunity miss for them if they do that because
I don't disagree. I think Elves have been done.
Yeah,
I think they've been done to death. So I think that there's going to be a few things that they can add into Elves that are going to be like, oh my god, Elves again.
I mean, really, all they need to do is put a 5-color commander. I mean, that's the only thing that isn't there right now.
Yeah, but what does an Elf deck want a 5-color commander for?
I mean, I would play it, but
you would play it, but what does it want it for? Is there a white Elf that you can think, hey, I really want that white Elf?
Not necessarily, but that's the only color.
No, but there's not really a red Elf.
Well, yeah, but you got to think about things like Bloodbraid Elf. Tana and what's his name?
Yes, no, those are good.
They
options.
exist.
That's true, but I wouldn't want a 5-color commander so I can splash Bloodbraid Elf.
So maybe a 4-color commander, or something like that.
I think that
maybe
black green is where elves are.
Yeah,
those are the strongest elf colors in my opinion.
Well, black, green, blue would probably be. Well, I mean, they already did that. They did Leovold, so...
They did do Leovold well, and we all know how well that turned out.
Leovold was not a tribal commander. Leovold was a nightmare.
I will say...
Leovold is a legacy card. Let's put it that way.
As much as it will pain many people, I'm so glad Leovold got banned, because he did something that wasn't okay.
Well... As we talked about when it first got released, our play group was smart enough to stay away from it because no one wanted to, do that.
There's controlling the board and policing the board, and then there's
not having fun.
Yeah, and then there's just taking over a game by playing your general. Now on turn 3, no less.
Are you kidding? Not turn 3. It's like turn 2 at least.
Yeah, if your deck's built around it, you're probably getting
not
it out earlier.
1 somehow. Mystical hand. Turn 0. Leovold. Oh crap!
Land with a Mox and a who knows, just going off.
And we're all wheeling on next turn. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And, you guys all have 1 card, and I have all of them. All the cards. I've played against a Leovold deck, and it was.
Yeah, I have 2, and it was not fun.
It took me back to Stacks days, and and that's that's a format that people like, and that's fine. It's just not a format I typically like to be in.
It's fun to play yourself the first 2 or 3 times, but after that, even you playing it, you're just like.
Well, and you guys just did the hate.
Yeah,
the hate cards.
I was
recently.
episode 2 or something.
Yeah, so you guys did the hate cards, and I was watching that one.
I wonder if he was on it. He should have been if he wasn't. But.
Leovold? Yeah, and I was listening and watching it, and I was like, every card on here makes me hate everything.
Yeah, I mean, I play a few of them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But there's a time to play. So, you put that deck away after the first game or whatever.
You're like, all right, I'm gonna make a statement, and then I'm just gonna have fun. So yeah, those are statement cards, I think.
I mean, back to blue black.
Yeah,
we've got. The reason I look at it as tribal is just because that's the design space that I choose to use for that color pair. I mean, the other way to go about it is mill, which is not that effective in Commander, in my opinion. There's too many people rolling around with Eldrazi in their deck because they know.
Yeah.
They've been mill out before, and you only make that mistake once.
Yeah. And
unless you're building a new deck and you forget your elixir or something.
Well, yeah, and the thing is as long as you can afford an Eldrazi, you have one in there. But even if you can't, Elixir of Immortality is
there's a ton of ways.
Yeah,
Psychic Spiral is my favorite way. Because that
Angel of Finality?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Is that the one that exiles or shuffles in?
I think that's the one that exiles, so I don't think that's the right one for reshuffle.
There's another one where when it hits, it reshuffles.
Well, there's a ton of creatures there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, they do it for themselves. I'm not sure which The Eldrazi are the only ones I can think of that reshuffle the entire graveyard.
Well, I know that, like I said, I can't remember the angel's name, but there's an angel that when it hits, or maybe it's not an angel, maybe it's a green card.
You might be right. I think I remember something.
When it hits, you pick a library, or you pick a graveyard, target graveyard, and that player shuffles that graveyard into the library. So it's good against graveyard decks, but also really good at making sure you don't mill out.
Stuff like Feldman's Cane.
Yeah. Hey, Scavenging Ooze, MVP of against a graveyard deck.
Well, in this going into Hour to Devastation, there's so many like hate cards.
Oh, we're going into Hour now.
Well, I wasn't saying we're getting Hour.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm just saying,
we're going into that. We're going in.
There's a few cards in here that are very graveyard centered.
That's true. That is true.
And I think a big part of that is just because of the aftermath cards and whatnot.
Yeah, I think they're definitely playing at that people. Also, graveyard Magic play is so popular.
Yeah.
I mean, they just banned Golgari Grave Troll in Modern or something like that because graveyard decks are, I would say, pretty standard. Aside from standard Magic, graveyard decks are some of the strongest decks you can build.
What they don't like is Dredge. Yeah. Because Dredge is, I mean, let's be honest, it's a very out of the box kind of like break the game kind of almost mechanic that they didn't really necessarily think about. Like, and they, as soon as the new cycling cards were released, they were in Modern decks.
Yep.
Like that's how quick it. I mean, it was just like
that's how graveyard Dredge decks loved.
Oh gosh. And what is the? It's not. I can't think of the card, but the one that is sorcery speed spell that suspends, that does a living death thing. Where's that living death?
Living death you can just play. It doesn't suspend.
I'm thinking of the sorcery one, the one that they can cast pretty much just for free off certain spells. Anyway, it's a huge, it's a big Modern deck. That card just went up to like $25 or something like that, just because of those cards.
Yeah.
Because you just cycle them, then you cast your living end. However, they cheated out. I can't remember. And then they just put a whole bunch of these like 5/3 weird and, you know, like this is the 4.
Yeah, they just have enough big enough ones, and if you're playing Modern, all you need is enough big enough ones, you know. So, yeah,
you can tell we spent a lot of time in Modern.
Yeah, that's not really our forte for sure. But I think what I was trying to get to there is that Graveyard is so popular, and in every format, and obviously it's very popular in EDH also.
Oh yeah.
So I think when they keep releasing commanders that play with graveyard manipulation, those commanders are always going to be really strong.
Marin, if you look at EDH Rec, like she's like
one
number
of the top.
Is she number 1 or number 2?
I think she's like second tier right now.
Well, I don't know about second tier, but she'll probably. I guess we're talking about two different systems. There's the tier 1, and I'm talking about just EDH Rec, where they rank them on the side.
Oh, I wasn't thinking about EDH Rec. I was thinking about something else.
Probably, I know
Tapped out.
Yeah, there's
Tapped
a huge
out.
list on Tapped Out.
Yeah.
I would say she's probably tier 1 for sure.
You're probably not wrong.
She's played enough.
Just absurd.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reaction that you can do with her. I mean, I've thought that blue, black, and I think black is one of the strongest colors that I don't take advantage of.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sacrifice is so
a lot of people have a lot of trouble with that, like paying life and sacrificing creatures. But once you rip that Band-Aid off,
oh no, it's not that I have a problem with it. It's just like. Because I've made black decks and I take advantage of the black when I do.
Yeah.
But I don't like focus on that. I haven't done that in a long time. So, like I had the airtight deck.
Yeah.
That whole deck was sacrificed. Like you sacrifice a permanent and you counter a spell. Like,
I think I saw you play it once.
That was probably in the beginning too.
Yeah.
Because it was not good at the beginning. I mean, it never really got good, but it was super fun.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's just. Yeah, well, I mean, going back to that, it's hard to get into because it's like paying life and sacrifice, oh god. But it's what you get out of it is so powerful.
I think people get lost in the I'm losing, more or less I'm using my resources, because it is just another resource.
Yeah, but then, I mean, you get to the point where we're at, and you're like, 2 life for 1 card any day of the week.
Yeah,
do
really.
it. Let's go. How many times can I pay it?
I'll go to 2 life.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, cool, I have enough cards in hand that I will
you
not
play
lose.
Lightning Bolt in EDH? Crap. Even Shock.
Dang it, I was not expecting the Fateful Showdown or whatever.
Yeah, that card's so good. I love it. So, blue-black. Black-red is another one we haven't really touched on. Rakdos. You know,
Black red's one of my least favorite color combinations.
I've learned to love it.
Yeah. Well, and you have the.
I have the Scorpion God, but before that, I have the Rakdos deck.
I was talking about what's the big guy that when you deal damage,
that's the
creatures
Rakdos
are triggered. Yeah, that. I like.
It's a fun deck to play.
It
really is.
It looked like it was a lot of fun.
It's just black-red. I'm gonna play an Eldrazi.
Yeah.
So that might be speaking to more
Animar
me.
Black-red. I'm just kidding.
Just because I love the Eldrazi so much. I mean, like, I've crammed them anywhere I can, literally. Like,
yeah, if you can get Eldrazi out for cheap, talk about the best value creatures in the game.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm gonna pay 3 mana for an Eldrazi. Okay, cool.
I can't even. You know,
it's nasty. And I'm not even talking about the Titans necessarily, because Void Winnower is incredible.
Well, and even the Staff of Ninja Eldrazi too. I can't remember his name.
Endbringer?
Yeah, Endbringer.
Yeah,
like that card is
good.
actually so stupid good, but no one plays it because of the restriction.
Because the colors, colorless. Yeah, but I still think, what is it? 2 tap and draw a card.
Yeah, it's
1 tap,
2
deal
colorless
damage.
specific. Though.
Yeah,
that's the hard part to get around because you can't just. It's not a Staff of Ninja. You can't just throw it in a deck.
Yeah,
it has to be a mana base that's dedicated to generating those symbols. But I mean, as long as you. I mean, if you're
playing artifacts, if you're playing colors where you're producing a lot of colorless to get stuff out anyway.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if you're already building your deck around the Blinky one, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah, I was just thinking about him, actually.
What is his name?
Eldrazi Displacer.
Yeah, Eldrazi Displacer. If you're already building your deck around that guy, I mean, it's not too much of a step to try and build it. Especially with things like, going back to Hour of Devastation, with things like those desert lands coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really not that big of a...
It's not hard at all.
No. It's like a weird pain land that you only get one color.
Well, and there's that desert that you sacrifice a desert and you exile graveyard.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Or the one that turns into a man land.
Yeah. I still think the exile graveyard one, that one's going to get abused. Because it's sacrifice a desert. So if you build a deck with a bunch of deserts, you have a get rid of somebody's graveyard at any point in time just there.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Sorry, we're getting onto Hour of Devastation now.
The only thing I wish they would have done is that they would have added like desert to the like the Canyon Slough. You know, like the lands that they were in the first Amonkhet. The ones that you can cycle.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I wish it would have been like mountain...
Island,
like
something
mountain,
desert.
swamp, desert. Like, that would have been cool, but I know
that might be
that's
too
a
much.
lot.
Yeah, that's too much.
You know, because I'm sure there are cards that say search for a desert.
Oh, we haven't even seen all the spoilers yet, so... Plus... Oh no, this is the last one of the set. So, but still, we haven't seen all the spoilers yet, and there's enough deserts in there already that are good enough utility.
Well, who knows? They might revisit it too. I mean, this is the second time they've done deserts. So
they made waste for a specific reason. Yeah. It's like that's gonna come back. There's no way they're just not gonna do it. Yeah.
Talking about color pairs, colorless,
color pairs, and then nothing, nothing at all.
What haven't we've done? We haven't done. We kind of brushed off black white art. Getting back to it, black white is really another one of those color pairs that you kind of think of specific commanders for, like Teza.
Yeah.
Like, that is like the first commander that comes to my mind. But just Orzhov stuff. And I think Orzhov is that guild made such an impact on that color pair. Whereas sometimes you think about the color pairs and you don't associate them with Ravnica guilds.
Yeah.
But I think this one is just an automatic.
Yeah, it's just, I can't think of, like... White-black to me is 2 things. And one of them is super old from, like... God, I was in middle school, and that is black-white clerics.
Oh, yeah.
And that was such an old thing, but it was so much fun back in the day. Back when Air Elemental was your big beatstick creature, you know what I mean? And you're just like, And the color scheme never really lost that identity, I don't think. It was always gain life, pay that life to do something cool. And it just does it so well. It does it so well.
I just look at it as taxation. That's all I see. Just taxation. Like,
and
the Ghost Council is like a perfect example of that.
Yeah. Well, and we just saw that in the. Not the Ghost Council. That wasn't in the top 8. Brian played Karlov in the top 8, and I think of it as like when you pay life, you're making everybody pay life.
Yep.
so it hurts everybody. But then all of a sudden, you're getting life back.
Well, yeah, and you have super easy access to life gain in those colors. It's just like, I've got this spell that does something, but it's going to gain me 20
You
life.
could throw a dartboard at white cards, and you're probably going to hit a life gain spell somewhere.
And they just keep printing more of them.
And even black, like Siphon Life and stuff like that. Oh, it's just crazy.
Well, and cards like, their sack outlets are like just ridiculous. You've got things like Yahini, you've got things like, what's another really good one that I can't think of?
Well, Yahini's huge.
Yeah.
But even...
Fish Call is another huge one.
Oh, that is a great one. Yeah, that's a good one.
So, I mean...
The one big sack outlet that I think of is in green, which is not helpful because it's not a sack. It's not a sack color, really.
I always think of Ashnod's Altar.
Ashnod's Altar.
That's colorless, so that
like
doesn't help us here. But, I mean, Bantu is another really good example. You know, Bantu's new.
Yeah.
There's just a ton.
Probably the best of the old gods.
The old gods.
They're already old.
Well,
it was this. They're not even old.
Let's be honest. They're the middle gods because we actually have the old gods, which are from Theros.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So these are like the weird middle child gods.
Yeah, but where do we rate them against like Perforos? And
bad? That's how we rate them against like Perforos. Like,
you think Bantu's bad against versus Perforos in that situation?
In what situation?
Just I don't know.
Like in a 1v1 situation?
Yeah, well, just the cards themselves. Not thinking about them in the index. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of like Bantu more.
Let's look at it color by color. Okay, so you take Erebos and you put it next to Bantu. Which of those two cards would you rather play with? I would probably rather play. Well, it depends on the situation. 1v1, I would play with Bantu over Erebos any day because it is a creature.
The sack outlet's so big in that one.
It is.
But Erebos has the card draw.
The actual card advantage. So, I mean,
and
it also has...
card advantage.
Thinking about it multiplayer ways, like, his secondary effect is just ridiculous. Your opponents cannot gain life. Yeah. Like, period. And it is an indestructible enchantment most of the game.
Yeah.
So, they're not going to interact with it. I mean, unless they have, like, some crazy spell. But anyway, like, I don't know. You compare the two. Let's do another one. Thassa and Kefnet. Okay. So Thassa is a 3-cost legendary that gives something unblockable. Okay, and you scry at the beginning of your upkeep. Kefnet is a 4/5 flyer, 5/5 flyer that you can only attack with if you have 7 or more cards, which you want to do in blue, mind you.
Yeah, no, that's good, but also his draw ability is draw if you have 7 or more.
Yeah.
So that's like not helpful.
Yeah, I mean it's decent. Like, you pay 4, you can draw a card and return a land to your hand, which gets you to that 7. Makes him a creature.
I think the big thing is he's too conditional. Because even in control, you're going to have 4 or 5 cards in hand.
Yeah.
And you're going to want to draw up to the 7, sure, but you're not going to want to spend the resources on drawing up to 7 that he costs, per se. Because there's cheaper ways to do it in blue. There just is. I would say that the green and the Bantu and the green.
Yeah, Ronus is pretty good.
Ronus is pretty good.
That. Like, I can't even remember. Nylea, I think is her name or something like that. She's okay, but she's boring.
Yeah, she's pretty boring.
Which is how I look at Ronus too, because he's good, but he's boring.
To me, he's the indestructible one, isn't he?
Well, they're all indestructible.
Not the new gods.
Well, not the new gods.
No. Bantu's not indestructible.
Yeah.
He's got menace.
Yeah. They all have indestructible in the second keyword.
I don't know the middle gods very well.
Bantu is menace indestructible. Kefnet is flying indestructible.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're all indestructible
as the second one.
Yeah, like haste is for Hazoret. Going back to that, let's compare Hazoret and Pelphoros and tell me which one of those two is better. Okay.
That's okay.
Like,
fair
really.
enough. I guess I was saying the best middle god versus the best early god, and I think
it's funny how we have to tier the gods.
Yeah, right.
Well,
what mortals have we become that we're rating
too?
gods?
Because like now the 5-color gods deck is just out of the world. I mean, it's just like
seriously.
Oh yeah,
especially with the new gods. Can we move on to?
Yeah, let's talk about the new gods.
mean, color combinations, they're cool and all.
Well, I mean, let's
red green.
Slow down here. Gruul's interesting. I mean, it's very creature based.
Gruul, in my opinion, is the least interesting.
Yeah, it's very straightforward.
It is.
Kind of
if you're an aggro player, it's great. I mean, I played I played I mean, this was back in Standard, actually. It was a red-green landfall with Lotus Cobras and stuff like that.
Well, I feel like it lends itself to that kind of strategy.
Yeah, and it was cool, but...
Borgomos is a really good example.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was cool, but it was just... I am a tricksy Magic player.
Yeah.
And straightforward stuff just kind of...
You don't want to be too honest.
Yeah. It just kind of bugs me, you know what I mean?
I think we covered all the other ones.
I think that is everything.
So yeah.
Unless we're doing off-color.
I mean, we could do tricolor and all kinds of other stuff, but I mean, really, we could make a whole other episode about
They're going to comment about the colors we missed anyway, and we'll just...
That's true. We will. Comment on what we missed. Yes, we don't know what we missed, because we don't have a, way to keep track of this.
Because somebody doesn't like to be prepared. I'm just kidding.
Sorry. And if you can't tell, I've been kind of sick the last couple of days, so my voice is a little weird. I'm sorry.
Getting over it.
Yeah.
So we got to move on to our
the new gods.
It's killing me.
The new gods.
The new gods.
The new gods. The newest gods?
The newest gods.
Can we just settle?
The
on
newerest?
Newer. I like newerest.
Can we just call them the good gods?
Can we? Yeah. I like that.
They're the good
These guys are creatures all the time. They're not indestructible, but who gives a crap?
They're basically indestructible because they go back to your hand unless they get exiled. And as a commander,
it reminds me of friggin' Derive in a lot of ways.
Oh,
it's just this guy's never gonna go away.
He's always gonna be cheap. Yeah. He's gonna be okay, you want to path to exile their commander. In some situations, that's good. In this situation, it's just cool, it gets it back to the command zone. But then I wasted a path to exile that's good for Eldrazi's and everything else on something that's I'm never going to make really expensive. It's never going to be a really expensive
Well, I mean, there's a possibility, but...
it's just
you're jumping through hoops to get them to pay more.
You're spending too many resources just so they spend 4 colorless instead of 2 colorless. It's that one ability on all of them is broken. And then on top of that, they're all incredible.
Oh yeah,
they're all incredible.
We started talking about this. We probably should have just recorded.
We should have recorded.
We're going on. The blue-black god, as we talked about, he's the least interesting to me because he is just good.
He's the one that screams, "This is what you're doing."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're doing zombies.
I like him more for his pay-for ability than I do anything else.
That's fair.
Having Gulich but upgraded in a lot of ways is just stupid.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I just can't discount scrying X.
Yeah.
And I mean, each opponent losing X life is not to be understated in any way, shape, or form, but scrying X...
And, restating what we've already talked about, it is not that we don't think this card is powerful, it is just too, this is what you're doing.
It's the red-green issue, you know what I mean? This is what you're doing.
Well, I wouldn't call it a red-green issue. This
but what I'm
just
saying
stupid,
is it's straightforward.
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean?
straightforward.
As far as, red-green being straightforward, and this is very straightforward. You're doing zombies, and you're going to do it really well.
Oh, yeah.
Because zombies in and of themselves are already good.
I have to figure out a way to figure out how to take my Gissa and Geralt.
You don't have to. You just plug it in. Plug and play, baby.
The problem is
that easy.
I have it altered and everything. It's so cool, but...
Well, you're going to have to alter the new one.
I actually don't really like the artwork for... Well, I'd alter it all the way, I guess.
Somebody's going to have you on.
The thing I will say is that the Masterpiece series of these gods are amazing.
So I was talking to Eric about this pretty recently, and although Masterpieces in general I have not really liked, it's not that they're growing on me because I still don't like them, but I don't mind them as much. They're not that I hate them anymore.
I think it's the atmosphere. Right.
You might be right.
Because the Hour of Devastation being so bleak, it just makes the darkness and everything make sense. You know what I mean? Thematically, it's just perfect.
I can't disagree. I look at the Expedition lands.
Yeah.
And then I look at the new Masterpieces that are hard to read.
My favorite will always be the second set, because when they did the artifacts, it was perfect in my opinion.
I think that the theme on that was awesome.
Yeah, I think it was enough whimsy to just look, this is pretty.
But even those cards look okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You mean the new ones? For some...
The Hour of Devastation ones?
And I don't know what it is. I've talked to a lot of people about this.
But the art on some of the early ones that took that format was... suspect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there are a few in this one too, but not nearly as
No,
many.
not at all. Although I think you were also doing an episode talking about how some of the cards just don't seem to fit.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with that. And I think, as Wizards has said, as you have said in many videos, they're cutting back on them. Thank God.
Because it just didn't feel special opening them.
No.
You know? Well, it still does, but...
Well, it's like the last set for me. It was buy it for the invocations, maybe. You know what I mean? I was not excited at all about Kaladesh. Or not Kaladesh, Amonkhet, I'm sorry.
Okay, I was going to say Kaladesh.
Amonkhet. No. Kaladesh was awesome. No, Amonkhet, I was not excited at all about it. I couldn't think of many cards in there that I was like, cool.
Me and Eric have talked about this a million times, whereas we think that they did a flipsies on us this time, where they were like, let's put all the craziness in the second half of the set instead of the first half of the set.
Possible.
Which makes a lot of sense if you think about it.
Oh my god, yeah, because even... Okay, we're moving to Hour Devastation.
Yeah.
I'm making the executive decision.
We've already moved there.
All right, okay,
like
because...
today, did you see the new spoiler today? The 5-cost explosive vegetation, but way better?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, so it's a 5-cost spell. It's 4 colors, 1 green, okay?
Yeah.
So you search your library for any 2 lands and put them into play tapped. Okay, now that is insane to me.
That's good. That's really good.
And it gets even better if you have a desert out. Because if you have a desert out, you also get 2/2/2 black zombies.
So you, for 1 colorless more.
Yeah, I think it's 2. It might be 1. Now that I think.
Well, I'm thinking from like explosive vegetation or Skyshroud Claim.
Yeah.
For 1 colorless more, you get 2 of any
Lands.
land.
It doesn't matter.
Utility land.
Nice Cradle of Vitality and trying to nick those. Like, it's just like... What do you
and then on top of that, if you've got a desert, you get protection for the next turn or 2 while you're still building up. That's incredible.
And now we'll talk about your favorite card so far, is that bird.
Well, I wasn't getting to that yet, but now I have to. So there's the bird that has the stifle.
Yep.
And I first looked at this card, and I thought, meh, that's pretty good. And then moved on with the other spoilers, and I was like, oh, that's awesome, oh, that's awesome, that's awesome. And then I thought about this card, and I was like, well, I love Stifle and Trick Bind. This is Stifle and Trick Bind on a stick. Well, not really, Trick Bind isn't in the split second. It's on a stick, but it's a 3/1 flyer for 3 mana that has flash. So not only if you have nothing better to do you get a 3/1 flyer for 3, which that's nothing to scoff at because it's got evasion built in for 3. That's pretty good.
Well, I don't even care about that. You cycle it to do the other ability, and you draw a card off of that. You stifle and draw. Like,
seriously. Not to mention, it's a creature.
Yeah.
So it's so easy to get back. It's so easy to manipulate.
Just so versatile.
That card is probably going to be like the Fairy Artisans.
Playsets now.
Yeah, seriously. That card's going to be like the Fairy Artisans for me, where it just starts to go into every blue deck.
Yeah.
Because versatile, you get to stifle and draw a card for 1 extra mana, or for 2. Okay, awesome. Sounds great.
See, and I don't even think, it's going to be great in multiplayer, but my god, it's going to blow the roof off in
1v1's going to be disgusting.
Yeah.
That card, I'm not going to say it this early, but I feel like it's going to get a banhammer in 1v1.
I doubt it. I mean, you've got...
Think about the cards that do the same thing. Stifle, Trick Bind. Then you also have the draw abilities and stuff like that. They're all there.
Okay. I think that with the format having changed to the 20-point life system, I think something like this is actually necessary.
Yeah, aggro has kind of taken control of it.
It's these kind of like blue tricks are in a lot of ways needed.
The thing for me is it is a cycle to use the ability.
Yeah.
Which means you can't counterspell it. You know what I mean? Like you can stop its effects. You can stifle that effect.
The bird to counter the bird.
Yeah. But like
I'm just gonna give my opponents the bird all the time.
I think the fact that it has very few ways to respond to it is gonna make it just nuts. Absolutely nuts.
Sorry, I jumped ahead on you.
Oh god, I can't even talk about that.
I know you're so excited.
Insanely. It's
I like
going
it
in
too.
Ravinia.
Seth
It's
loves
immediately
it.
going in Ravinia.
The amount of people that I've talked to about it, loving it, are just,
it's too good.
But back to the gods.
Oh, I was going to say...
We haven't even finished those yet.
What about the... I think something that's probably going to get overlooked a little bit is the 4 colorless, 2 white enchant a player. That player can't get +1/+1 counters and stuff. I think that's going to get overlooked, and I think that's going to be incredibly good.
Well,
Think about how big a
Are you
Traxa
talking
is.
about Salinity? Salinity?
I can't remember the name of it. I just saw it.
Because I don't think it's
yesterday, I
enchant
think.
player. I think it's just a board enchant.
A world board.
Yeah, it says players cannot get counters.
I think you're probably
Creatures
right.
can't get counters. Lands can't get. The only thing that can get counters are planeswalkers, I believe.
Yeah, loyalty. It doesn't stop loyalty counters.
So that card is a very. I mean, it's a ridiculous card in EDH, but it is a very modern card. It's a very legacy card.
It's too expensive.
No, I think that card's gonna be in those formats right
think?
away. Oh yeah, people have already called it.
I think with the popularity of Atraxa,
It only costs 3. It's 2 colorless, 1 white.
no, we're not talking about the same card then.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about it's like 4 colorless and 2 white.
We have the tablet.
We need to look it up because this thing is nuts, and it's. I don't think we're thinking about the same card. The card I'm thinking
Well, no,
about
because I'm talking about
enchants a player.
Solemnity.
Or maybe I'm mixing cards.
I think
So this
you are.
one enchants a player, and all of their creatures become a 1/1 without any abilities.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
That card's nasty. It's expensive, sure. Don't get me wrong, but EDH is
Doesn't it
the
cost like
place.
7?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I said, it's like 4 and 2
thought it
or
was an
something like that.
artifact.
No, it's an enchantment.
Well, I'm thinking of a different card too, then, because
Oh my
there is an
God, we're all
artifact.
over it.
Yeah, we're all over the place here, guys.
We have so many spoilers on the brain that we're thinking about all of them at
I'm
once.
just gonna go to newest.
That
'cause that'll be the well. All right,
Well,
give
now
us
we
a
have to
second.
wait for everything.
Oh man, there's some new stuff out too.
Oh God, don't get started on
Yeah,
it now.
yeah,
We're gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
lost forever.
I love
that one
those
there.
lands. Okay, so Overwhelming Splendor. It is an 8-cost spell, which is pretty hefty.
Yes.
Enchant player or a curse. I'm gonna let you read the rest.
All right. Creatures enchanted player controls lose all abilities and have base power of toughness of 1/1. An enchanted player can't activate abilities that aren't mana abilities or loyalty abilities. Tell me that's not one of the biggest shutdown cards you've ever seen. Players can't activate abilities. That it doesn't say abilities of creatures, of artifacts, of lands. It says abilities. Plus, your creatures are static 1/1s, so their ETBs no longer work.
So, first thing I have to say about this, the artwork is amazing.
It's incredible. Oh yeah.
Second thing I have to say about it is it's just too expensive, in my opinion.
It's
It's
8.
too expensive,
It's 8.
and it goes against one player.
No, I get that, but I just think it's if you're looking at the combo player,
Yeah. Like, I could see this being really great late game.
But here's the thing: is I don't see that as a bad thing against any deck. You think about the aggro deck. If you're playing it the way you should play it, you're going to be surviving long enough anyway. But you play it against the aggro deck, and then all of a sudden the aggro decks, all of their 5/5s and 6/6 tramplers are 1/1s with no abilities. Plus, it shuts down the control player because now they can't.
I guess I
activate.
keep seeing it as I play this 8-cost enchantment, and then they play disenchant.
Oh, who plays disenchant?
I won't.
I mean, crossing grips and stuff like that. Totally.
Yeah.
I completely see you there, but.
I understand
see
that,
it in
like,
because that's
you
going
can't
in.
acidic slime it or anything like that, but...
No, and that's going straight in Hannah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
You know what I mean?
But that's a very control... Like, I can get it back from my graveyard, do it again, kind
but
of
that's what I'm
build.
thinking. I'm thinking you play it in a control deck.
Yeah.
Where all you really have to do is spend a mana here or there to protect it.
Yeah.
And it's absurd.
Well, and then
I mean, it's expensive.
going on to the next card that I just see right here is like the ground mole drifter.
I don't like it.
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm all about it.
It's too expensive.
I mean, it does make you discard the cards, which what can you do?
Well, so you draw 2, discard 2 for loot. So you're looting for 1 extra mana and getting a creature, which, okay, that's not bad. But there's more effective
the way I
ways to
keep
draw in
looking
blue.
at it is like in like Tassacre. That's where I keep looking at that.
Because you're going to throw it in the graveyard and get it out of the graveyard. But then, to get it out of the graveyard, you're spending 7 mana. You're spending 1 less. You're spending 1 less than the enchantment we just talked about. I think the enchantment is far better.
Yeah, but this
Well, you draw 4 and you discard 2?
I guess the way I look at it is I'm using the ability to discard what I want to delve. That's the difference there.
I guess, yeah, that's true.
Maybe not so much the Eternal.
Card by itself, I like what I was talking about,
Yeah.
but in the right deck, you might be right. It might be a
Well,
little
I think
bit
that's
more
both of the cards we just talked about.
That's true.
Because, I mean...
Although Refuse Refuse to Cooperate or whatever. That card's awesome too.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
I like that.
I'm not too hot on it.
Well, here's the thing: is I think that Cooperate's going to sit in the graveyard, and people are going to forget about it, and you're not, and then you're going to utilize it like crazy late game.
Yeah,
I just think that's what I like about aftermath cards.
Imagine Boundless Realms or something like that. Oh my God, it's just so good.
See, and that's why, or like a Tooth and Nail Entwine, like what?
Here's the one that I was thinking about when you were talking about. Is the God Pharaoh's Gift. It's an artifact that costs 7. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. It gains haste until end of turn.
Here's my problem with that card. That card is 1 less mana than the enchantment I was talking about. You have to exile from your own graveyard, so if you're playing a graveyard deck, you don't necessarily want to exile your own graveyard stuff.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting a big effect out of it, which you could.
Depends on what the deck is, but yeah.
But it also turns whatever big creature you may have into a 4/4. Mm-hmm. So I think it makes your huge... It makes your 6/6 flying tutor on a stick.
But a 4/4 Avacyn is still better than no Avacyn, to me.
Yeah, but if it's in your graveyard, you're probably going to be able to get it back in a deck you would use in the same.
Depending. I mean, I'm not arguing for the card.
I would say we're going to have to argue this card later.
We're kind of. I'm not really.
We're still learning the cards and figuring out where we're going to use them or how we're going to utilize them. So yeah, there's definitely.
I mean, there's so much in here.
I still love that Cycle's a thing. I love that Cycle's a thing.
I'm trying to find my favorite one so far. Out of all the Aftermath cards, I love this card. Here it is.
Well, we still haven't talked about the gods yet.
Driven to Despair. This card is like a black-green token deck's dream. It is so good.
Yeah.
I know I already talked about it in one of our other videos, but Driven, it's a sorcery for 2, 1 colorless, 1 green. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain trample. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So, I mean, that's already evasion and card draw on one side.
Yeah, 2 mana for airtight.
Yeah.
Basically.
And then you have the Despair side, which is 1 colorless and a black, and it's a sorcery. Then you've got Until End of Turn, creatures you control gain Menace, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card.
So for 4 mana,
yeah,
you're getting card advantage, and you are disadvantaging everyone
card
else.
advantage, because you can look at that as card advantage.
Yeah.
Nath of the Guilt Leaf. Nath of the Guilt Leaf.
And then you get a bunch of tokens for them discarding.
It's just so good.
That's nasty.
Back to the gods, though.
Yeah, I mean, we really need to
finish out that side. So we're going to talk about the Scarab God. Something that you guys may not know, and we will get to eventually, is we are doing our usual Commander gameplay challenge. I am playing the Scorpion God. Kylie is playing the Locust God. We kind of got lucky and threw our hats in really early for those because it's before the rest of the legendaries were really spoiled, and we're kind of still maybe waiting on one.
The green.
It's maybe. Me and Eric talked about it today, and it may not happen. Which is
never mind. I'm not going to go into my tangent on lore.
Yeah,
because that's another video or another thing.
Excuse me. But anyway, Scorpion God, Locust God. These gods are off the chains. They are stupid good.
I can't think of a god that's more my playstyle. In maybe a color scheme I'm not used to, but more my playstyle than the Locust God.
Well, man, I seriously thought about you as soon as I saw the stupid thing. I was just Psychosis Crawler.
You mean a card that when you draw cards is how you win the game? I wonder who likes to do that.
Well, I know a lot of people are just like, well, it costs 6, but I mean, who cares?
Who cares
Especially with that effect again. It dies, it goes to your hand.
It's always going to cost 6. Yeah. Not always. Again, of course there are ways to deal with it, but I honestly think you're playing against a black deck, cool, they're going to make you sacrifice it, cool.
It's most likely going to end up back in your hand at some point.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just going to cost 6. So it's just the fact that it makes tokens with haste.
And evasion.
Yeah.
Haste and evasion.
So, I mean, you don't really care about Blue Sun's anything on your turn. You're just like, okay, I'll draw 10 and then kill somebody probably.
Yeah, normally you're like, okay, I have to do this and I have to wait till his end of turn so I have my... No, you don't
play
care.
Coat of Arms just for the hell of it.
I have a coat of arms still from my.
It's like 100 power.
For my Darien deck,
right there.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Plus,
and they all
Perforos.
Yeah. Oh god, don't even say that.
You get to draw cards and get Perforos effects.
Don't even say that. Don't even say that. I didn't even think about that interaction. I don't even want to. Oh my god.
Talk about using the good gods with the good gods.
Yeah.
Oh god, I have been like kind of doing my little research on this deck, and I am going to have a blast.
See, I'm probably gonna have to like throw in some things against you, like
you might. I mean, Torpor Orb.
not Torpor Orb.
I was just thinking about the Perfos come. Like that one's huge.
I was thinking of like stuff that like punishes you for drawing, or just playing creatures.
Whoever gets the Scarab God, you've got Notion Thief and stuff like that. That would really hurt my god for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and then thinking about your god.
Oh, Scorpion God.
Oh, the
like
-1/-1 counter.
I just want to put an Illusionist Bracers on him and go to town. Like, just, I'll give you a -1 counter. I'll give you a -1 counter.
Illusionist Bracers and, like, what's the pay 2 and then copy an ability of an activated? Rings of Brightheart.
Yeah, Rings of Brightheart.
Oh, like, God. Just stuff like that's going to get nasty. And then, not only are you dealing with board states, but you're getting card draw off of it. Like,
well, and that's the thing. That's the reason I kind of gravitated towards it, because it's something that Rakdos doesn't usually do, which is draw cards.
Yeah.
Firstly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like that red, black.
Yeah.
I mean, black, draws, but when you pair the red with it, you kind of stop focusing on the card draw and you focus on other things. But this is the whole theme. Like.
Yeah. And really what the main thing was is I had that Hepatra deck, and it was fun, but it was kind of like, So, I mean, this is just like the natural evolution into it.
The first thing I thought about when I saw it was Hepatra started the process of making 1v1s really, or -1/-1 counters really good, but didn't really get there. And I think that this god is going to make it absurd.
And then you don't even really begin to talk about like the things that just go with this, like infects.
Yeah.
Which is just insane.
And another thing that I think fell off the earth for a lot of people was Wither.
Oh yeah.
Wither's it's not as good as Infect per se.
Well, combat-wise, yeah, but I guess I'm arguing for it is as good in combat, but it's not as good as in like I'm doing combat to a person.
Yeah, it's great combat creature to creature.
Yeah, you just because I mean even if you don't lose your creature, you're hindering their creature, which is
if you don't lose your creature, you're probably killing them.
Oh yeah.
End of story. Yeah. I mean, just I think that. I think it's going to be stupid. I think this is going to be probably one of the most overpowered EDH games that we do.
You know, we've got the four. I mean, so Greg is playing the Scarab God.
Yep.
And then Eric is going to play Neheb. Now,
I still think Neheb's awesome.
I agree. I think that the funny thing is I think we're all going to sit down and have these super powerful gods, and I honestly think Neheb's going to win. Because like Neheb does things that are just positively ridiculous.
Honestly, Eric knows Mono Red pretty well. You know, he's got the Ben deck, and he's been around that for a while.
We were talking about the other day. Play as Sizzle. You just got 9 mana during your second mid phase. And you dealt your opponents 3 damage. Like, stupid little spells like that cost 3 mana to generate 9 mana. And then you just, like, I don't know, play a Banefire and copy it with it's just...
I love Banefire.
Yeah, it's just so good.
Fire Blast.
Oh, yeah.
Sacrifice to 2 lands to get all of that.
You know, we've got a few other legendaries in the set. You know, the other 3, like, the Demon is awesome, but that's for his own reasons.
I think now here I kind of want to go into that actually, because I had an argument with somebody about how I think that Demon is gonna be better than Grizzlebrand.
Well, firstly because it's not banned, but yeah.
Well, no, even in a 1v1 format. Okay, they're both really expensive. They're both gonna get out at the same time because they both do the same thing. So the same way you get Grizzlebrand out is gonna be the same way you get that card out. The difference. Yeah, you're paying 7 life to draw 7 cards, which we all know is overpowered. There's a reason why it's banned. Instead, you're paying 2 life to get the exact card you want.
And the part that I will agree with you on is that you don't have to pay any of the other additional costs like mana to activate that ability.
No.
That's where it really... That's
You
where it
sacrifice
clicks
a
for
creature.
me, because you can just do it.
Yeah. Well, same with Grizzlebrand. You pay 7 life, you just...
Well, yeah. I'm not comparing the two cards. I'm just saying that's what pushes it over the edge for me.
I think it's nuts.
And,
I think
an 8/8 trample flyer is not...
nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, it's not
but
bad.
I think 2 mana and a creature for tutor.
Yeah.
Tell me black isn't gonna just tutor the 3 combo cards to win the game.
Yeah.
You know, or the 2. You know what I mean? They're just gonna, okay, my commander's out, and now I win because I've got my combo pieces.
See, I may be thinking of it wrong. Let me... Yeah,
mean
it's,
the
you
mono
don't even
black?
pay mana. Yeah, pay 2 life, sacrifice another creature. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I must have misheard you at some point because I thought just
No.
like you had to pay mana. I was like, wait,
No,
no.
2 life. You pay
It's-
2
It's
life.
that much better because you don't have to. That's what I'm arguing for. But yeah, the card is ridiculous.
2
It's
life,
awesome.
sack a creature, get your combo pieces
Out
to
of
win the
the
game.
other 3, or out of the 4 monocolor legendaries that we have right now, it's probably my favorite. But Neheb is definitely like right there.
Neheb's huge. I think it's probably Neheb is one of the few mono red legendaries that I've looked at and I've been like, that's cool. Because I'm not a mono red guy.
You could have been.
During the summit, yeah, that went over well for me. I died first after the 2-hour-long game.
Yeah. Oh god, I don't even want to think about that.
Now the other one, so the Sphinx, I think you had a good point.
Color.
I think you had a point. Is it's going to be index,
Yeah.
but it's not going to star. And even though there are a lot of blue Sphinxes,
It's not enough to build a deck.
no, you want that black. I feel like you want the black or the white.
You probably want both, to be honest.
Yeah,
you want
you wanna run
Espers and
Esper, yeah.
Sphinxes. I mean, because that's where they are primarily.
Yeah, and then your shrooms are cheaper, and
And we've even got red Sphinxes now with Arjun. Like,
yeah, but
I
I
love
don't
that card,
I don't
so.
see that deck being blue red.
no. I'm just
I
saying,
think
like, it's branched out that far.
Yeah, Sphinxes have grown except for in green.
Yeah, well, that'd be.
A green
I mean,
Sphinx
that's
would
like
be
having
a
a
weird
green
day.
vampire. I mean, like,
Yeah, that'd be really weird.
what do you suck?
And then
Sap? I don't know.
the white one I don't really like at all.
No, he's another card that just goes in the deck.
He'll go in a Super Friends deck.
I wouldn't even play him there, just because when I play Super Friends, I just play Planeswalkers. But
Yeah, but you can tutor for a Planeswalker.
like in a Captain Sisay deck, I think I could see this. You know, just grabbing him and then grabbing whatever Planeswalker you want.
Yeah, but the problem I see him in a Captain's deck is then you're just running white Planeswalkers.
Well, no, because
Sisay's white, mono white, so you have to just run
Captain Sisay is green white.
I must be. I'm thinking of the Rebel Commander.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's still not that great, but
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not
it's a utility.
I think in the decks that he'll work really well. I'm not high on him.
But you know what's going to happen, though? Because Seth has said that he wants to build this guy.
Really.
And when Seth says something...
So Seth's building a mono white Super Friends crazy.
Yeah, it's just like, what is it you going to do?
Yeah,
And
you start to get scared.
How am I going to die to it? Like, what's going on?
I think that the
Gideon Tribal.
preventing a damage to a Planeswalker is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, you can't Staff of Nin to keep something down anymore.
Yeah, but I mean,
But I think he's a tutor for a Planeswalker on a stick.
he, in my opinion, suffers just like the Sphinx from not having more colors.
Yeah.
Like, if he was blue-white, I think we'd be looking at it a little bit
Oh,
different.
then you grab Venser and then
Yeah.
you just keep doing it? Yeah, that'd be
Or even like
nasty.
Cameo or anything
Yeah.
like that. Jace, the Mind Squaler. Well, not Jace,
Not the
Mind
Mind
Squaler.
Squaler. In
any
1v1,
Jace,
sure, yeah. But I wouldn't put him in
So, I
1v1
mean,
deck.
it's what it is. It's an okay legendary. If you want to build around it, I'm sure you can. But I would just run it in the deck if you really need it, or not run it at all, to be honest. But
No, I mean
there are cards
to
that
be
make this better.
there's not a lot of Planeswalker tutors.
No,
You know, there's not a ton of them.
no.
So if you think that's really going to break open the game for you,
Well, and
Cool.
I think this is a push by Wizards to make white seem to be like the Planeswalker. I'm gonna play Planeswalker color.
Yeah, because the other one, the Gideon Trials or whatever,
Yeah.
that fetched for Planeswalker also.
Well, and then there was that other spell that came out in Battle for Zendikar that was like, go find whatever blah Planeswalkers. Or no, it's reveal the top 7 cards cards and you can put 2 planeswalkers into play.
Yeah, I think that's the card I was thinking of.
Oh, is it the same one? I mean, there's like 2 or 3 that came out in the last couple of years that all focus around planeswalkers.
And they're white.
And they're all white.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's fine. I don't care. White can be planeswalkers. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Like, we need it somewhere, so there you go.
Well, and white, especially mono white, I feel like needs a little bit of help.
Yeah, especially for Commander. Like, I feel like, you know, that's, I mean, reading the article we both did,
Yeah.
oddly enough, not even knowing about it. But reading that article and kind of going over, like, weaknesses to colors, like, I feel like they are necessary.
Yeah.
Just to make the game, like, actually function. But at the same time, it's just like, okay, we need some more colorless ways for white to draw.
Yeah.
Because right now it's
White
kinda,
and draw is like, you're running a mind's eye because you have to.
yeah. Well, and the ways to do it are so boring. It's just like, here's a staff of men.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Here's illuminated folio. Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that one.
I mean, Mind's Eye, that's probably the best one.
Mind's Eye, well, that's what I'm saying. You're playing mono white, you play Mind's Eye. Like, if you're building a mono white deck,
Yeah.
1 card slot's already taken with Mind's Eye. You just have to.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, look at things like Stram. Like, Stram is a perfect example of, like, what happens when white gets card draw, though.
it's overpowered as crap.
Yes, it is. It's ridiculous, because you're just like, wait, he's playing it, oh, he's drawing, oh, God, he's brewing, oh, my God, you know.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah, I've
gets
seen
stupid
SRAM
fast,
decks go
so.
off.
Ooh, so much to talk about.
And then there's the Locust God.
Well, we already talked about that.
Did we?
So.
Oh, a little
I know
bit,
you
yeah.
really like it, but
God, so
we don't
much.
need to talk about it again. I mean, we can continue saying it's awesome.
That's true.
The artwork is great. Like, out of the
That is
3,
one that I'm probably going to have you do.
like the
extended
Scorpion.
to.
Yeah, I will do that. The Scorpion God's artwork is okay. I mean, it's decent.
It's too dark for me in a way.
Yeah, I do not like the Scarab God's artwork. I think he looks goofy as hell. You know, just a giant blue blah.
Yeah.
Whereas the Locust God is just perfect. I don't feel like the card artwork fits the colors of the card necessarily, but I don't mind it because it's just like, whatever, this works.
Yeah, I think it's.
I think when you think of a Locust, you think of green. Which
I
makes
think of
you-
green. I think of Swarm.
Yeah.
I don't think of red.
No.
Because here's the flying is from the blue,
Yeah.
and the haste is from the red. But I just don't see them being locusts.
No.
You know what I mean? Whereas scarabs, I totally see that being black blue.
Yeah.
And
Scorpions
Scorpion
make sense too.
Yeah, I totally get them.
I feel like they could have maybe used a different type of bug for this. But once
green
again,
blue. Should've been
I
green blue.
just don't care because it's that cool.
No, yeah. At the same time, I think the card's insane.
Yeah.
And having, I mean, it's a little overpowered for 4, but to have a loot on him too.
Yeah.
He has a way to set
You
his
mean
engine up.
overcosted, not overpowered.
Overcosted, yeah. I'm sorry. He
I was
has a way
wondering
to
where
set
you're
himself
going
up.
with Yeah.
Cool. I mean, you're gonna run better ways to do it, so you're rarely gonna do that.
So yeah,
But in a pinch,
the more I've played with wheel effects and loot, the more I just don't mind them. They're
no,
actually
I don't
really
mind
good.
it at all.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if you're running blue, you're probably gonna run the wheel effect
Oh, yeah.
instead of use his for 4 mana. What you can windfall for 4 mana.
Oh yeah. Well, you
So-
can windfall for 3, so it's just like
Yeah, so you're just there's
Or
I won't
brainstorm.
see- yeah, brainstorm. Draw 3, put him back. Oh,
I don't
there are too
even
many.
care.
Yeah, cool, whatever.
I got
What
3
cards am I
bucks.
putting back? It doesn't matter.
Nice lands, bro.
Yeah. And then we've talked about Nicol Bolas
Oh yeah.
to death.
The card's stupid.
I think just like the old Nicol Bolas, very high cost.
Oh yeah. But it makes
Once
a
it hits
huge
the board,
impact.
it's insane. It's like having Ugin or
Well, I wouldn't go as far as Ugin because Ugin.
no, I'm saying in game changing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it hits and it does something crazy right off the bat.
Yeah.
Period.
Well,
Karn
you
does
can
the
kill
same
a player
thing.
right away with it. I mean,
Yeah, that's
if they're
true.
low enough, you're just like, well, take 7.
Yep.
Okay, see ya.
Next person, step up.
And then we've got Samud on the other side. Just
Not my color combinations. I think it's good.
no.
No. Why not?
I will straight up say I do not like this card. It is terrible.
Okay.
Like, the +1 is okay, double strike. I mean, okay, it's not terrible, it's boring again.
Okay, you're boring. I will agree with, but I don't think that it's terrible because I think double strike's not.
It's got its place, but Commander, it is just the boringest red-green garbage I have ever seen.
I
The
think
only thing interesting on it is its ultimate, which you'll never get to.
no. I can't remember last time I ultimated a Planeswalker.
No, unless you're like really playing like dedicated Planeswalkers ones.
Yeah, if you're playing Super Friends or something like that.
I'm not going to include this over like anything really. I'd rather play Tidball.
Well, and there's not there's not a whole lot of red-green generals or Planeswalkers that I care about at all.
Yeah, Domri Raid is okay in certain strategies. Like Sarkin Ball is not good. Like, really.
Nope. Arlen Cord.
Arlen Cord is very focused. Like, it's tribal.
It's interesting.
In my opinion. But.
It's interesting, but it doesn't do much for me, I don't think.
No, because the sides are kind of like, oh, I'll make a wolf. Oh, I'll flip it over. It's almost like it's too
flip it over. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. But yeah, Planeswalkers are good. I mean, they could surprise us with the third one, but I highly doubt it.
No, I don't see that happening. Although,
you never know.
Nissa might die.
One of them has to, in my opinion.
I don't know if has to, but I think Nissa might die.
I feel like, okay, I shouldn't say has to, needs to. Like somebody needs to.
Well, here's why I think they're going to kill off Nissa.
Okay.
They've been building her up for a little while.
Well, and that's the way I feel about Gideon, too. So, I mean, there could be an argument.
I don't see them getting rid of Gideon.
No. I mean, they almost transitioned him into more of a poster boy at this point than Jace in a lot of
exactly.
ways.
I think Gideon's taking over Jace's spot. Even though I don't think anything will ever take over Jace's spot as far as
too
work. But I see Nissa as someone that, if we lost her, would anyone really freak out? No.
Well, somebody would, but...
Well, okay, yeah, there are the dedicated few.
Yeah.
But if we lost her, no one would really freak out. But everyone would be like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
My favorite Planeswalker could die at any time.
At any moment.
Yeah,
and that's what we need.
I think that's what they're going to introduce. And I think that...
I do not want it to be a Johnny.
Well, there's no way it's going to be a Johnny.
I mean, somebody's brought up in another, I think, some point on YouTube talking about how, what if a Johnny shows up at the last second, like sacrifices himself to save the whole Gatewatch? I will be pissed. Because that
could happen. They haven't really.
Oh, I would be so mad because it's just like no.
Here are my two.
Okay.
Nissa and Chandra.
See, I like Chandra. Well, I like both of them, but
I think Chandra's good in the story, and I'm talking lore. I'm not talking cards.
Yeah.
I'm talking lore. Chandra just had her moment.
Yeah.
With the Eldrazi. I mean, she.
Yeah, but going back to that same point, she did just have her moment with the Eldrazi. Like, if you think about it, like coming off of Kaladesh, we've got all this story build up for Chandra. I think it would be a bad place to kill her off.
That's a good point, I guess, with her parents. And
well, even if
like
you think about it that way with Nissa too, because we just resolved
but Nissa doesn't have enough substance. She doesn't have enough there that makes me think they can't kill her. Introducing Chandra's parents is a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Because now you're invested in the character in more than just this character does things, because now they have a life and a story kind of a thing. Nissa she grew up on Zendikar, she screwed up with the Eldrazi,
really bad,
and then fixed it, sorta, and then...
She was there to fix it.
Yeah, and then now she's getting, like, a little bit mellower, a little bit cooler. She's added blue.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Wow.
But I think that's all
Always
just...
good before you die.
Yeah, I think that's all just a little bit of flavor.
Yeah.
So that killing her hurts a little bit more, but it still isn't devastating.
Yeah.
I really.
I could see it. I know that she,
because we know Liliana's not going anywhere.
Well,
we know Jace isn't going anywhere. We know Gideon's not going anywhere.
Well, yeah, it would really suck if they killed Gideon right now.
I think those
they're making him feel so vulnerable right now that is a whole story element on its own.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I think that he might.
Well, I mean, look at this friggin' artwork. Like, just the artwork on his hate card, like Gideon's defeat.
Yeah.
Like, where Nicol Bolas's finger
just touching it.
is piercing that veil of protection. It's just like, no. I mean, it reminds me of, like, when Captain America picked up Thor's hammer and, like...
Yeah, and everyone was like, oh, God.
Yeah, it's almost like one of those types of moments.
I see Gideon kind of doing a Garrett.
God, I hope not.
I kind of see it. I kind of see his mind maybe shattering to the power of Nicol Bolas and the fact that his now invincible self, who was totally invincible against Erebos, a god, is now being decimated by
a
this
real
other
god.
guy. Yeah, I think he's going to break. I think this may be where he becomes white-black, or
I mean,
a little chaos, maybe white-red, a little chaos gets thrown into
I would
it.
like the white-red angle a little bit better.
I think that's going to happen. I think, because here's the thing. Think about the color, or the monocolor planeswalkers.
Yeah.
You've got Jace, you've got Liliandra, and you've got Gideon now. And you've got, no, because Ajani was a different color. He started out as white-red.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Johnny started out, or
he's transitioned. He's gone all the whole spectrum of Naya. Like he hasn't been Naya totally, but he's gone red, white, green, white, and white.
Yeah.
Like so. I mean,
So he's kind of done it all. So he's kind of lost the ability to be a single color forever.
yeah.
So there's only really 3, but only 2 of those can I see not changing ever, and that's Jason and Liliana. I think they're too iconic and have been too iconic for so long. Well, and Chandra.
Yeah.
Chandra hasn't.
Yeah, because
bled.
you try and add a different color to that, and it's just like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Chandra can't. No way.
Like red, blue. What?
Yeah, no
She
way.
grew a brain. What's going on?
Too fly off
I
the
guess
cuff
she
for
has a
that.
brain, but
She has
you
a
know what
brain.
I mean.
But she's too hot-headed for that. I don't know. I honestly, and especially when I looked at the art, I thought maybe Gideon gets another color.
I mean,
Because now Nissa, who was our other mono green, is gray and blue. So they're not keeping 5 planeswalkers around of the same color.
yeah, that's true.
Period. Dedicated.
Yeah.
They just ruined that with Nissa.
So what are they gonna add? Like another green one after she dies?
Yeah, I think so. Right?
Here's Twiggy.
Twiggy. Well, they had Freyalise, but that was
That's
an
way
homage
back
to
in the
old.
day.
Yeah.
like that. She's been dead for a long time.
Yeah, I think Nissa's dead.
Yeah, I mean they keep killing or changing their mono green planeswalkers though.
Plus, she's feeding off of the ley line a lot in the story.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be what kills her.
Okay, getting back to that, I hope this isn't another Elspeth moment though, where like she dies but she's not dead.
That's true. That is true.
Because we all know Elspeth at some point is coming back, and she probably will most likely be black-white.
Yeah.
That is my guess on that.
But then I don't know.
I mean, she's becoming a zombie human planeswalker or some combination of that.
Maybe. I hadn't really thought about her as much
Well,
because I was too crazy about everything else that was coming
I
out.
don't know when it's going to happen. I mean, it may take like a return to Theros or something like that. But
I wonder if they, because Gideon and Elspeth had this thing on Theros
yeah, kind
where
of.
he was kind of, she helped him, and
Well, no, that was on Shards of Alara. In Alara, I guess, wasn't it?
no, I thought Elspeth helped Gideon against the White God Heliod, and
I don't
then
think that was Gideon. I
Heliod-
think Johnny and Elspeth.
oh, a Johnny. Gosh,
Getting out of
see,
Johnny.
I keep forgetting. Well, and I think, I don't know. I want Garrick to come back in some crazy way.
I want him to come back and kill another planeswalker.
Yeah,
personally.
like I want Garrick to just fly off the handle.
He is after we see this conclusion with Nicol Bolas, which I doubt they're going to finish him off. or
Ixalan?
anything. Yeah, like I think
Oh, you
I think
think-
Nicol Bolas is going to totally wreck them.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to go off on his own little way, build up to another huge thing, probably like 5 or 6 years from now, where we like finally see what he's up to.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. We'll keep the mystery at home.
Oh yeah,
And then I think,
he always disappears for a while and then comes back in a huge way.
well, I mean, it's like he's building a giant machine. Like, there's so many little pieces that we have no clue what's going on.
And we're
he's
going back to
responsible-
Dominaria.
He's essentially responsible for releasing, in a way, for releasing the Eldrazi. Like, in a roundabout way. Like, he
Yeah.
had a hand in that.
He may have been trying to do that
Yeah.
with a lot of other things, because we know he's the puppet master, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's got more things in the kettle than we can even
Yeah,
imagine.
we even know. I mean,
Yeah.
there is a reason he killed Ugin. And
Yeah.
we have no idea what that is.
Maybe because Ugin was the only one that could stop him from doing what
I don't
he
even
was.
think that's it.
No?
I don't think like, as you saw, he defeated Ugin, and it wasn't...
Yeah, but it wasn't like it was easy.
No,
He didn't like...
But I mean, I know there's
Ugin.
the whole thing where he goes after other Elder Dragons, and Ugin
Yeah.
was probably one of the other Elder Dragons. But of that generation.
Yeah.
You know, because now we have all these other Elder Dragons. But regardless, there's just so much to think about.
I know. Tangents lead to tangents.
Well,
this could be like
people are gonna look at the topic of this video and they're color pairs.
Wait, we're on Planeswalkers now? What's
they just
going
spent
on?
45 minutes talking about who's gonna die in Hour of Devastation.
I think that I don't know. I think that Amonkhet bored me.
Yeah.
Even in the lore, Amonkhet kind of bored me a little bit.
Yeah, I'll agree.
But now it's. I think that they made it so boring because they knew this next one was just going to be off the head.
They turned the corner and it was just like, oh my god, what's happening?
Yes.
Oh my god.
And that's exactly how it felt too. It felt like, awesome, the next story's going to suck, and then they turn the corner and everything's going wrong, and you're just like, all right, I'm invested again.
This is a good change. It's not Eldrazi, so I'm happy.
Exactly. And I think a lot of has been taken over by Eldrazi for a while, and even during the the vampire sets.
Oh, Innistrad?
Innistrad. Yeah. Even during Innistrad, it kind of like
over Innistrad.
It went away from it, only to kind of come right back into it.
Yeah, and I think that was a huge downfall from in what they did.
Yeah, the Innistrad lore
was too soon. Like if they would have waited like 3 or 4 blocks and then done that, then it would have been like, oh my god, what's happening?
I would have lost my mind.
Oh my god, Eldrazi again! Holy shit!
He's back. I thought they defeated him, and oh my god, yeah.
But I mean, in a lot of ways, they had to tie those cards together somehow. Because I don't think they really wanted to do like a whole nother set with like colorless matters, blah.
Well, yeah, and I think they kind of wanted to wrap it up for a while.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they would have wrapped it up for a while earlier.
Well, and like I've told Eric a million times from now on, the next time we see Eldrazi, we're going to probably sympathize with them instead of against them. That is the way that I see it turning, because I think that we are going to see that they were an essential natural force that was misused and manipulated by outside forces to be turned into a weapon, which it is a weapon, but...
Yeah, you're thinking a whole, like, things are going to run abundant, and then it's going to be too big to deal with.
I mean, this is, like, way in the future, I'm sure, but I think that the next time we see them, we are going to sympathize with them. I know it sounds bizarre.
The problem I have with that thing is just what Emrakul said in Jace's mind before he left.
I don't remember.
He was like, I choose not to destroy everything because I don't want to. I control everything. Basically, it was saying that he's the one that decides everything, and he's going to let them put him in another...
See, I don't remember it being that, I guess, aggressive. I see it... The way that I took, I guess, from my perspective on that, it was more of like a force of nature. Less of like a malevolent being, if that makes any sense.
I would agree with you if it were Kozilek or if it were Ulamog.
See, I have more, like I see it more because it is Emrakul, less because it's Kozilek or Ulamog.
I think Emrakul is the Mac Daddy. Well, in cards wise, of course, but I think in
you honestly want to know what I think is going to happen? I think that we're going to find out that there's like some kind of Planeswalker Eldrazi that leads all of this. Not per se an Eldrazi Planeswalker, but something that is like the actual brainchild of this entire thing.
Merit Liege, maybe?
I don't know about
There's been talk about that.
No, because Merit Liege is his own entity. Like,
no.
It's not an Eldrazi.
Merit Liege came out way before Eldrazi's. It's also colorless.
Yeah, but...
And...
Well, no, it's black, actually.
Is it?
Yeah. I believe on the card it even says black.
Well, but it's a huge thing that can planeswalk.
Yeah. Well,
and
in
was
its own
tracked.
way.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's Eldrazi.
I don't know. There's been talk about it.
Yeah, I know there's been talk.
I kind of heard it, and I was like, I can see where that's going.
I could see it, but I don't think it's Eldrazi.
That's fair. Anyway.
Yeah. Whoa, color pairs.
Color pairs.
They're great.
Now that you've watched this whole video and you know everything about color pairs.
What are we on right now? We're on like, oh gosh, an hour and 21 minutes.
We should probably wrap this thing up and move
so anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. We're going to probably, talk about other stuff. Maybe on episode 6 we'll...
Yeah, the next 4-hour episode that we do, because you and I can just sit here and debate all day. It's what we do when we're not filming anyway, so...
So anyway, for stream, we're going to be right back in a couple seconds. We might take a little bit of a breather for some water and whatnot.
Oh, yes.
But we're going to do Kylie's deck discussion on one of his decks, Rubinia. I know YouTube, you can also catch this. It'll be probably the next episode that gets posted. But anyway, thanks for joining us. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know, once again, what we've done right, what you'd like to see us change.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.